And when he shouted, "Oh yeah, people start to laugh at him. And when he shouted, "Oh yeah, people start to laugh." Masa, so what you know when mute phone no matter. Remember, I am the host.
You're the host.
If you mess up, I will sack you. I will sack you. It's good to see all of you back once again.
Boy.
It's good to see all of you back.
Good to see you, guys. Welcome to the.
It's good to see all of you back again.
Good to see you too.
Okay, the la hoye. Fiifi hoye.
Akomeah generic. Yeah, hoye.
La kumo hoye. What did he? Oba Fiifi amaska did he? What told you I'm wadi? Come. Mama guess account.
I know the own years.
Tell me show us me.
Hey, it's was a
pilot.
Just it.
Mayday.
I guess a day been a senior man be receive chips at. Go interview or GTV. GTV na receive chips at China boy na airport me share us.
Hey.
Ade obi man information we chira na. How be share na?
Mayday. So you are welcome to the Four Post Podcast. Here we discuss everything football and other sports when it deems fit. And I think for this week we really enjoyed football, from the UEFA Champions League, the heartbreaks, the surprises, the obvious results that we were looking up to. We are going to discuss all of them. And I think this weekend we have a big game on our hands. It's the Chelsea versus Arsenal, the London Derby. Is it going to be the title decider or any other thing could come into the mix to make sure that Arsenal goes on and win the league title? And today, I have with me Dela, I have with me Fiifi Manfred, and I have with me Lakum. We are going to have further discussions with you. As we've always stayed with us, just make sure that you share the link, let your people watch it, let them subscribe, and at the end of the day, put their notifications on. Fiifi, what a week we had in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Top fixtures. But let me first of all ask each one of you your most surprising results there.
Bodo Glimt.
Bodo.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the results necessarily. I mean, I feel like Juventus also put up a game, but for Bodo Glimt, I was like, they went there and they showed fearlessness. Most situations, I felt like they might succumb to the pressure, the quality of the Italian players. But to go to Inter Milan, CP Mieza, and beat them 2-1 convincingly. Look at the ball they were playing. I mean, I might not have been too surprised, but I was so much impressed. Let me put it that way.
Okay. Fiifi.
Honestly, none of the results this week surprised me. Yeah.
Why?
Because I expected the teams to play the way they did.
It was obvious.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me because, I mean, I hold a firm conviction that there are real problems with the teams in Italy. So most of them were not surprising to me. I think the only thing that probably was a pleasant surprise was how well Palladino was able to engineer a comeback in Bergamo. For me, I don't think that is something that is in the DNA of Atalanta, to go down by 2-0 and then come back to win by score 4 goals at home. But something was made clear, and that is the attitude of Atalanta. And I said something this morning, Mike. I feel like in the Champions League and knockout football, if you go away from home or if you are home and then you win your first game by 1-0, that is not an advantage. If you win your first game at home by 2-0, that's not an advantage. That is a disadvantage. Why do I say this? Arsene Wenger has said this several times before, that anytime that he goes and wins a game, he was asked about why Bayern used to eliminate him most of the time. There are times where he would play 1-1 at home with Bayern, he would score Bayern 1-0, but when he goes away to the Allianz Arena, it's a total drop. So what was going on? And it's because when you are leading by 1-0 or 2-0, the big problem is that when you go away from home, do you go into it to go and play attacking football? Do you go and play conservatively to protect the lead that you have, or you open up? And that is what gave that advantage to Atalanta. They had a good result, but the advantage was the fact that Niko Kovac's team had the results at home, 2-0. if you don't take care, part of you will make you feel like you are in control, and that will be a pseudo sense of control. But that's not control in itself, because you think that it is difficult for somebody to score 3 against you. At best, they'll score 2 and they'll take it to extra time. It was the same as the Juventus game against Galatasaray, where probably Luciano Spalletti and then the Juventus managers and the Juventus team felt that it is going to be difficult for Juve to get 3-4 goals in regulation time. But he did. If you look at Galatasaray, they went through the whole game just trying to manage it, get fouls, pass among themselves. But then the real football wasn't good. Now, if you look at even the Dortmund-Atalanta game, Dortmund has the most possession than Atalanta. Dortmund played, I think, about 54% ball possession, whilst Atalanta had 46. So what does it mean? But Atalanta created an XG of 2.96, whilst they created 0. something. What does it mean? It means that Dortmund were just nicking the ball here and there about, but then they were not effective as they wanted to be. Whilst Atalanta, the few times they got the ball, they transited, were more vertical. They played into the 30 and they created chances for themselves. So usually when you take the lead, it's a little dicey. But that is where maybe you would give credit to Bodo Glimt for going away to Inter and then saying that, okay, we won the game by 3 goals to 1 in the first leg, but we are not going to sit back and allow you play the football. We are going to be as expansive as we want to be. We are going to open up the game and then we'll get a result. And maybe that's where the issue is. But for me, the results that came out throughout the week did not surprise me. Maybe I will lean towards the Paris Saint-Germain Monaco game. I get that Paris Saint-Germain are going to qualify, but when the game was literally dead and Monaco still got the equalizer, it sort of highlights the big issue of Paris Saint-Germain this season. Maybe it's accumulated fatigue. They tend to concede a lot of goals later on in games.
I think for the Paris Saint-Germain game,
Yeah.
I'll have something to ask you about it. And I think it's going to be a broad question about what they did last season and this season, the difference. What is happening?
Yeah.
But let me go to Lakum and come back to you. Lakum, your most surprising results.
So I was not surprised, but I was impressed with the kind of performance that Bordeaux gave against Inter Milan. And then we say Premier, because prior to the game I said Bordeaux Glimt is going to win against Inter. And then we say Premier are checking their form and their performance against these big teams in the UEFA Champions League this season. You see, you can talk about form and Bordeaux Glimt in the UEFA Champions League recently against big clubs in the but in UEFA Champions League, when I buy into the context of fixture, you not take into consideration just because of form and as a recent performance, because you can talk about the historical aspect of the game. Now I buy into that stadium as far as UEFA Champions League is in contest. And what can we say premiers that they still open. Now I have Bordeaux Glimt. Timin dim come about Bordeaux Glimt say European night on my because since 1916 to 2017, no money heard that it take a Chester Nursing and they form 2018 or the last season. I'm going to pay more the Europa League semi-final. Into a into European scenes now, ultimately more Bordeaux Glimt or one of those teams now be a Jumano. Into or call Guzepe Mieza, you know, say they are pressure.
Is it not one of those fairy tale stories of the Champions League? Like Ajax 2016, Ajax 2019, Shaka Nufie 2011. Yes, we go next round.
Bit my from that perspective, but I'm talking about say or come match anymore. Guzepe Mieza, you know, a difficult ground. We win or as Pamaradi, but in Giuseppe Mieza against International Milan, we say something is at stake. Or man win or man qualify. This will be a very difficult for Bordeaux, but the kind of performance on the 9th, Tom de Ball Giuseppe Mieza, and I was impressed.
I think I was really surprised with the Atalanta Borussia Dortmund results. It's due to the fact that Borussia Dortmund is a Champions League heritage club. There's nothing you can take it away from them. They've played the finals, and I think last season they even played in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. They've been able to keep a consistent team. They have a coach who coached by Munich, brought them in. Going 2-0 in the first leg, I thought in the second leg they could just snatch something out. Even if Atlanta was going to win, I was thinking around somewhere like 2-1 of that sort, something of that way, or maybe 3-2 in favor of Atlanta. Then Borussia Dortmund will qualify. But that was a masterstroke performance from Palladini's men. And right from the blast of the whistle, they were just on top of their game. To the last one, you think that was a foul, Bella?
Yeah,
Do you think that was a penalty? Because Nipan or Claiborne, no, Besimbani he literally even got the ball.
But you see, there was contact, okay, and the ball wasn't at a low level; it was kind of a high level too.
Seriously,
Considering that, but I feel that it was a penalty, and looking at how decisive at that moment to not calling for a penalty, especially in the case where there's been a direct hit, leg, head in the air.
it was really going to be very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult for the referee to overlook it. So
wow, Fiifi, I think for Luis Enrique, the whole discussion we made last season was that this is a PSG team that can replicate whatever Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid did because of how they built up their squad, how consistent they were, and even people felt that this is a team that actually nothing shows that they are going down. But this season, you look at their league form, you look at their Champions League form, and I know someone may argue that last season they picked up their best form during this particular same phase of the UEFA Champions League, where they beat Brest and qualified to the next round and destroyed every single team before winning it. But this time it looks a little bit shaky. And with the Monaco game, I wasn't really convinced by their performances. I don't know what is happening to them. What do you think has changed?
I think that first of all, I don't think too much has changed at Paris Saint-Germain. I think that this is the similar template to what happened last season. You remember when that one was against Stade Brestois, they were able to undo them home and away. But Monaco and then Paris Saint-Germain games are always keenly contested. They are cagey. But Paris Saint-Germain always tend to have that extra knack that takes them, that pushes them off the line. The only thing I see with Paris Saint-Germain is the fact that they probably do not have a full preseason. The team probably did not have enough rest after the Club World Cup because they played the most games in Europe last season and they played the most games also in the Club World Cup. So all of the games in the Club World Cup, all of the games in Europe, all of the games in the French Ligue 1. Mind you, they played the Coupe de France, they played the French Ligue 1, everything that was there, Super Cup, every other thing. So maybe some accumulated fatigue here and there. And it's the reason why even this season he's used more of Wayne Zaire-Emery as part of the midfield in times where Fabien Louis has been out. So it's just a team that's coming in. One of the tricks about the European seasons is that it just doesn't matter. It doesn't reward consistency per se. It just rewards the team that peaks or are consistent at the right time of the season. So if you are not peaking at the right time, somebody like Arsenal, who are beating everybody, if they get to April, May, and Arsenal's performance begin to drop in just 2 weeks, everything that they've done in that 8 months of the season will go down the drain. So Paris Saint-Germain probably are not there yet. Probably they've not peaked in the season. Probably they've not had their best selves this season. But it can come right in the round of 16, right in the quarterfinals. And from there, they'll be able to pick it from there. And that is the strength that you get when you play for a team like Paris Saint-Germain. The times in which their form picks up, the times in which they show themselves and then be able to really exert themselves in games. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. When Monaco play against Paris Saint-Germain, it's always like this. It's always cagey. It's always like that. And I just feel like Paris Saint-Germain would have to pick at the right time. When you look at the two teams that possibly they can meet, both Barcelona and Chelsea, these are all teams that they can fancy their chance against on any day. Paris Saint-Germain, Luis Enrique against Barcelona on any day, he'll feel like he can beat them because it's going to be attacking firepower against attacking firepower. If it's about the defensive balance, they have the defensive balance more than them. They also have the quality midfield to do the things that the Paris Saint-Germain, the Barcelona midfield can do. If you have a certain Pedro Gonzalez, who is the king of recycle of the ball, Vitinha is as good as that. João Neves is as good a controller as that.
I think the absence of a player like Fabian Ruiz is hurting them.
Well, I don't think so.
I've actually watched them, and then you look at their midfield balance. Yeah. It looks good, but doesn't look excellent, like how it used to be.
In fact, there are parts of
Fabian Ruiz gives them different kind of.
But you see, you forget quality. That there are parts of last season that it wasn't excellent. Mm-hmm. There are parts of last season that wasn't excellent. There are parts where he has to chop and change. I know people have said that the absence of Gianluigi Donnarumma is also a big deal for them. I don't think so. I think
that is true.
I think that Lucas Chavelli has done fine. I mean, I've seen people who did not particularly watch the game and they said, "Oh, it's their second choice goalkeeper, the Russian, that was imposed when they considered those goals." In fact, in the last few games, he's the one who has been imposed. All of the times where Lucas Chavelli has been. In fact, there is enough data to prove that now Paris Saint-Germain are better in terms of shot prevention. You see,
which,
it's nice.
Which
it's,
I actually believe shot prevention
Yes,
is not
nice.
solely the job of the goalkeeper.
Of course, he contributes to that as well.
Yes, by the back line too.
It's because how you play generally affects your shot prevention. If you play long, you are likely not to have higher shot prevention technique. If you play controlled via a goalkeeper, and that means your goalkeeper should be comfortable with the ball. When people constantly compare Lucas Chevalier at Paris Saint-Germain to Gianluigi Donnarumma at Manchester City, I feel people get it wrong. Why? The reason with which Chevalier came to Paris Saint-Germain and the reason with which Donnarumma went to Man City are not the same. Man City were in a difficult time.
Because Edison wanted to leave at the end of the day.
Away from that, they were conceding goals.
Yes. Edison were making simple mistakes.
Yes, they were conceding goals. Even away from Edison's mistakes, they were conceding goals. And they didn't have a dominant centre back and the leader at the back. So Ruben Dias, who was the leader of the Man City defense, constantly they lost the organization. They had issues in there. They didn't have a dominant figure that can tower over everybody and say, like Van Dijk and Alisson will lead the Liverpool one, like Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes will lead it for Arsenal. What Man City needed from Pep Guardiola was for somebody to be the tower and the leader at the back. If it's just about shot stopping, I don't think that Pep would have been too worried and say that James Trafford should go and sit on the bench. But he needed somebody who has done it before at the highest level. And that's what his team needed. Paris Saint-Germain needed something else. They needed... Okay, let me finish. They didn't need somebody that gets the best saves and all of that. They needed a goalkeeper that is controlled in their play. And Luis Enrique has said it clear. It's not my word. Luis Enrique has said that he wanted Lucas Chevalier because of his ball playing ability. Anybody can sit anywhere and disagree.
Don't you think being a perfectionist can sometimes be a weakness?
But then Pep Guardiola too is also saying,
oh, of course, Pep Guardiola has weaknesses, and there's a reason why he lost the league title last season.
Exactly. So, but I don't think that. I don't think that. So, are you saying that today, when we finish playing the league and Man City do not win the league, are you going to say that Pep Guardiola's mistakes of not convincing Edison to stay and bringing in Gianluigi Donnarumma is the reason why they've lost the league?
Because the problem is not Edison. The problem of Manchester City goes beyond him. It's the centre back's position, where he has gone into the market in a January transfer. And he says, McGay, come along.
But still, even with McGay, Manchester City are feeling and they want the dominance of Gianluigi Donnarumma, and he's doing a good job at that. That is what they wanted.
Do you think PSG...
Let me end before.
It has to be very important in this regard.
So let me end it.
Oh, you end it.
It's important.
I end it. You are listening.
Let me end this.
End it.
Oh, Masa.
So
usually when it comes to... Let me end it.
I am the host.
I
am the host.
Let me end it. So
end it.
When it comes to issues like this, it's important for what the team needs. It's not always generic. It's not always, okay, this is the case, so then we have to go with that. No. For Luis Enrique, it's about Chevalier being the one that can play from the back for him. And for him, that's the most important thing. People constantly ask, why is it that when Hansi Flick came to Barcelona, Hansi Flick says that it is Juan Garcia who is there. In terms of pedigree of goalkeepers, is Juan Garcia close to what Marc-Andre ter Stegen will give you? No.
But is Marc-Andre ter Stegen fit?
Marc-Andre ter Stegen was not fit.
Situations are different.
No. So
circumstances are...
Marc-Andre ter Stegen was fit when Juan Garcia was coming. It is because they knew they've got Juan Garcia. That's why they forced him to go and do the surgery.
And he needed to do it too.
Which is okay, but I'm saying that at the end of the day, he could have been imposed. We are not talking about the player's health, but the quality of the goalkeeper. What does the team want? The team wanted a goalkeeper who will be proactive, who will be a sweeper goalkeeper. And at that point in time in the world, when Arsenal were deciding between Raya and whichever goalkeeper, they nearly settled on Juan Garcia. In fact, all over Europe, almost everybody was interested in one.
Even after with Raya, we still
wanted one guy. So sometimes it's about what the team needs at that point in time. And for me, I don't think Paris Saint-Germain have made a mistake with Lucas Chevalier and his imposed.
I think they needed more than Chevalier. And Donnarumma wasn't even the main problem of the Paris Saint-Germain.
Donnarumma was not a problem at all. It was not a problem.
Do you think PSG is missing him?
Well, you see, if you look at what PSG did last season in the Champions League, you can't look at their success without looking at what Donnarumma did. Do you get it? I mean, you see, when it comes to Champions League, sometimes you need players to win you games in certain moments. Maybe, like Manfred said, Luis Enrique wanted Chevalier at that particular time because over a long stretch, it feels like this is the guy that fits my tactical identity. Okay, but obviously Donnarumma is a better player, looking at whatever he has done. But Enrique said he doesn't need him at that time. Enrique said no, he doesn't want him. He wants somebody else. And most people, if you remember, most people said Guardiola was doing a mistake getting Donnarumma because this is Guardiola's style and Donnarumma doesn't fit. It's like playing from the back and all that. But Guardiola got him. And there's something you realize that now Manchester City's style has changed over the past few years compared to what they were doing with Ederson and all that. They don't need Donnarumma to be constantly doing that, playing from the back and all that. Now you see that Haaland is much more involved in the build-up compared to the previous seasons. I don't think PSG did a mistake as far as they keep on winning. Whatever thing you're talking about as in being they dropping a bit from last season, you see, PSG are still good. Okay, they are still balling. Last season, during the group stages, they were still fumbling and all that. Injuries, I feel like, has really worried them. Even though it might not be a dramatic or a significant impact, you can't tell me that what Zaire Emery is offering and what Fabian, what he also offers, they are the same. You might not see a radical decline when it comes to their play. Let's say the previous seasons when Rob Holding, Saliba got injured, we need Rob Holding to come. Look at this season. When Saliba injured, we brought in Calafiori and Nkapie and all that. They are playing, they are okay. They are not on the same level. Okay. So I feel like whatever is happening to PSG, the players, their injuries, Dembele being out, Fabian Ruiz being out, all of that might be a factor. It's not necessarily on the goalkeeper. I don't think they made a mistake necessarily going for him. Another coach might come and the coach might prefer Donnarumma over this current one, but I don't think.
I think Luis Enrique overstepped his boundaries when it comes to Gianluigi Donnarumma. I can pinpoint specific games. If not for Gianluigi Donnarumma, PSG would have been out of the Champions League.
Fine. I mean, against Arsenal, yes.
Against Liverpool.
Yes, you see,
against even Inter Milan at a certain point in the final.
Against against. Obiara in the football identity. What Donnarumma gave to PSG as at that specific time. Against in now a number of saves and the points are a winning man on the team in the Champions League or the treble.
It's proven, factual.
No problem. But coach on no identity.
Na ne chinchi obi anka
no grandma. My identity
is
on the
person is your own. He doesn't agree with
that. He made Mbappe go. People said it was a mistake.
Me for Mbappe's own, I had nothing. I had no issue with it.
You didn't have an issue with
no.
You didn't have an issue with Mbappe.
No, you know, Mbappe is actually their main man.
Ousmane Dembele, who eventually won the Ballon d'Or, sits in the bench and asked him to go home against Arsenal in the same Champions League.
Yes.
He still engineered a team to win.
And I'm saying that you could watch this Paris Saint-Germain team all day long. And one thing you could see is they don't have a goalkeeper.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing
You don't get point. Donnarumma is a good goalkeeper. In fact, he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world.
Yes.
But like Kiki is saying, it depends on what the team wants at that point in time.
And then you want something else. And the issue is, I have no problem with what Luis Enrique wants. But the main discussion I'm trying to prove here is that he might have gotten it wrong by allowing
at this point, he's not wrong. At this point, he's not wrong.
It's not
Champions League
last year,
with Donnarumma last season, so not
they were still at the same.
Donnarumma, born where you catch him.
Manchester United needed a goalkeeper was simple. Man United never needed a ball playing goalkeeper. They needed somebody who was dominant in his box, and Sani Lamen is doing the job. What does the coach want at that point in time?
So literally, anyone can also prove that Gianluigi Donnarumma was a key to PSG's title success, and you can't argue with that.
Nobody is
The
doubting
difference is he moves to England, and at the same time,
Have they won the league
Manchester
there?
City
Has he won the
are
league there?
winning games, and it's the reason why.
So when you City or you see games with Donnarumma, that's hazy.
Akomeah, I don't agree.
Donnarumma is the reason why Man City winning games. Now Man City on the other hand.
Without Donnarumma,
Man City Nigeria
without Donnarumma.
Man City Nigeria be away.
Without Donnarumma.
Arsenal team so way.
Without Donnarumma.
Arsenal team when you team so be. I'm Arsenal team when you do because of Donnarumma. Sana make up for Arsenal. Tell me some use.
Listen, Akomeah, nobody is taking away what Donnarumma has brought to Manchester City. Okay, he's been one of their best players, and I agree. But to say that he's the reason why they are winning, I don't think so. Because PSG is also winning, and Manchester City, they've not done anything that you can say, oh, Donnarumma is the standout player. You won't. If I ask you, who has been Manchester City's best player, are you going to tell me that Donnarumma? Maybe feel like Gehi has even
The
brought
top
more
10
impact.
top 10 with him.
Now players will start somewhere saying.
Oh, like at least he's Man City's top 5.
Top 5.
What?
What about 5 for now? I better say like Haaland now.
No, he hasn't been better than Haaland.
I better say even Doku on the guy started a game. Why better say no? Why better say Foden? Why better say you can't say this guy? Someone you call by anyway. Why better say no? What are you be saying? I am boy. Why am I come down for?
What movie?
I want to ask you guys this. It's something that's been on my mind. Kiki, do you think that Italian football is on a decline?
So I was trying to pull out a specific statistics for you before we go along with that.
Okay.
So for the second season in a row, Italy has just one representative in the Champions League
Last season was same.
It was the same.
Okay.
Since we introduced the round of 16 in the Champions League, started in 2003, 2004, they've been able to have 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. The minimum was 2 before 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
Then I think 2013, 2014, they had 1. 2014, 2015, they had 1. Then subsequently, right from there, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3 till last season and this season. So, meaning since we changed the format of the Champions League and introduced the round of 16 into the said competition, this is the 4th time we are having only one Italian team in the round of 16 of the competition.
Yeah.
And I think this further backs it if you are supposed to discuss how the Italian Serie has actually dropped in recent years. Because if they have 3 in, how many years now? 2003 to 2004 to now is how many years difference?
2000 what?
3, 2004. How many years difference?
Till now. 2020, about 12.
23 years.
23 years?
23 years. Yes, I think it's about 23 years.
Science of squeeze.
So if it is about 23 years, there has been only 4 times in the history of Italian Serie A that they've only had one team in the round of 16. Does it really support the fact that the Italian football is going down?
I don't think that completely it has collapsed. It has not collapsed completely. However, there are reasons to worry. And why do I say that? Akomeah, the ebbs and flow of the quality of leagues and all of that depend largely on, I think, about 3 thematic areas. 1, revenue stream, very important. 2, culture, the kind of football, and then, of course, the success that these teams have in Europe. First off, you mentioned how the Italian teams have been struggling in Europe for a while now. And that means that it obviously would affect their UEFA coefficient points. And that is the major way Europe used to judge these clubs.
Because Germany has experienced the same thing 5 times. 2006, 2007, 07, 08, and 08, 09, 3 consecutive years. Then fast forward, they had one in 2017, 2018, then another one in 2021, 2022. For Spain, only once, 22, 23. For France, they've had it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. For France, it doesn't come into this discussion. But for England, it has never happened before.
Of course. I mean, when you talk about the strength of the leagues in Europe, you talk about the 2 strongest, which is Spain and England. And one thing cuts across them. First off, it is the revenue that they have. So the revenue that they have gives them the ability to, 1, retain their players, the ability to put together stronger teams. And of course, that means that they can compete. Because when you look at even a team like Newcastle United, why are Newcastle this successful in the Champions League to the extent that they can qualify through? Because there is money. When Sandro Tonali left AC Milan, he could easily want to go there. When some players like Joe Willock and the likes would have want easily go into other teams elsewhere, they are in Newcastle United. And these players are even on their bench. So it tells you that the money in the English Premier League is very important. Yeah. And the money helps them a lot of the ways. And that is where there's a worry. Anybody that talks about the Italian Serie and look at just the football and the field of play will not, probably does not understand the problem that the Italians are going through. Why do I say this? The Italians have not found different ways, creative ways to make more money, whether from TV revenue. You remember in the last few years, something like, was it FIFA, the FIFA game, they decided not to even use the names of the Italians teams because the Italians demanded certain amount. In fact, if you take FIFA 25, Juventus is not called Juventus. AC Milan is not called AC Milan. It's clear. Because of the money that they wanted. They felt that you did not merit the amount of money that they wanted because you are not, quote unquote, a big club as you used to be in the past. So revenue has been a big deal for them. And that is the reason why even when Juve said they wanted to go into a full way of rebuilding their team, look at the players that they have in. These are not the regular household names that Man City will command on any day. When Paris Saint-Germain wanted to buy, they could always constantly buy the quality that they wanted to buy. Manchester City same. In terms of pedigree, these clubs are not on the level of Juventus. You look at the Juventus team, Philip Kostic is an old man. You look at Manuel Locatelli, he was there before the rebuild. Then you look at their goalkeeper, Perrin. Perrin is a new guy. When you look at even Bremer at the back is a player that, of course, was one of the best players in the Italian Serie at some point in time and has gone on with him. But these are not players that are like creme de la creme, big names that can make a change.
Players.
Yes, Kenan Yildiz was not a player that was already standard before he came in. He found his foot over there. They brought in Pierre Kalulu from AC Milan. The Juve team is not a team that really can go on and say, okay, they can put their hands on your chest and get it done. You go into fast forward the Inter Milan team. You want Besek. Where do you want Besek come from? When you take out Nicolo Barella, you took out Alejandro Bastoni. These are the two main guys and they're still in their prime in that team. Of course, Lautaro Martinez has been there for a very long time. You remember when Antonio Conte won the league, Conte wanted another set of investment into his team. They could not do that. The Chinese at the time, I don't know if it was Swinging Group or so, they decided to go. They couldn't buy for him. And that's why Antonio Conte left the club. And it was left with only Lautaro Martinez. They had to find a way to go to Bayern for Leverkusen to bring in the French big brother Thuram to come and complement Lautaro Martinez to do the job. Now you look at the team in itself, the two fullbacks, older players from Italy. Acerbi was at Lazio with Simeone Inzaghi. When Simeone Inzaghi was coming to take the job, he brought him. Acerbi is 38, 37, senior man. Jan Sommer. What was Jan Sommer? Jan Sommer. Yeah, of course, Stefan de Vrij as well. They had to let what's his name, one of their centre backs go away to Paris Saint-Germain. So truly, this is not a team that, yes, they can have an outlier of going to the final last season, but they cannot be competitive or being there for 2 or 3 seasons in a row, semi-final, quarter-final, because it is the consistency of the success that makes the success true. You can have one success, and if it's not consistent, then that becomes an outlier. Again, when you look at Jose Mourinho's Roma team that won the conference league in its first season, after that, where have they been? They have been out of the conversation, even in the conference league, even in the Europa League. When you look at Gianpiero Gasperini's Atalanta team that went to win the Europa League against Bayern for Leverkusen. After that, now Palladino yesterday took a miracle to get them to where they are now. So that is the real problem. And where does the problem stem from? It is because they just do not have the money to keep these players together. Now they have to find players from elsewhere to get a job done. I was saying something earlier on. I listened to. I'm coming. Let me end so that you can bring your questions in.
There's something I wanted to put in where you were literally speaking about the kind of quality that these teams have.
Yeah, but
I wanted to ask a question.
I want to make a point just so I don't forget. When you listen to, I listened to what's his name, Sex Fabregas. Fabregas mentioned something that was really telling. They asked him that why is it that he is a Spaniard, he has gone to Spain, brought on Morata, brought on Nico Paz, brought on one of Jacob Ramon also to their team, all for Madrid to his team. And he said that in Italy, most of the young players are not developed. The video is there. He mentioned that in Italy, there is so much focus in the juvenile area on winning that they don't develop players. They just focus on winning. We just want to win the short term, just want to win matches. There's no development because there isn't enough money. They want to build a better CV for the player. He has won Primera Division this, and then money to sell the player to another club. So when he wanted players that were well developed, he had to go to his native Spain to go and get Nico Paz, go and get Jacob Ramon, go and get those players to come to that Como team. And we've seen how well they are playing. You see, Italy has some of the best managers in the world. Thiago Motta with what he did with Bologna was huge. Palladino himself is good. Roberto Di Zerbi is excellent. Enzo Maresca in the last few years has showed us that he is good enough to be there. But the problem consistently for the Italians is that how do you keep this together? It's not about just winning one time or winning twice or winning. If England are able to always get somebody there. England last season had Aston Villa there, didn't they? Mm-hmm. They had them here. And when the flip switched, Newcastle came. When you take the squad strength of Newcastle United and you take the squad strength of Aston Villa and you compare it to even the best team, which was in Italy last season, which is in Napoli, that's not close. Napoli's midfield is made up of rejects from Manchester United. No disrespect to them. How old is Stanislav Lobotka? Billy Gilmore. What kind of quality does Billy Gilmore has? In which top team in Europe does Frank Andre Zembo and Guisa go in there? So the managers in Italy are literally drilling water out of rocks. And they are doing the unthinkable. And that's why it's not sustainable. Constantly I ask myself, maybe the best opportunity for Antonio Conte in Europe was when he came to Chelsea. But he also flagged it in that second season or third season when he did not perform. So you look at that team. Today. Napoli's captain and then their left back, what's his name? Their fullback. Di Lorenzo. Di Lorenzo himself, which team in Europe, top team, does Di Lorenzo start in? Which team? And do you know that Napoli this season, after last season in Italian Serie, they bought the best centre back in the Italian Serie and they bought the best goalkeeper. Napoli's best goalkeeper, current goalkeeper today, was the best goalkeeper in the Italian Serie last season. But and they bought and they added Wickham or something, the centre back at the back, added him to Juan Jesus. That is quality in the league.
Yeah.
But not good enough. I won't be surprised next season somebody come and price those assets away from them. Yeah. And for me, that is where the problem is. They had one young player that played against Chelsea, also in their ranks. Very excellent attacker for Napoli. For me, that is the problem. If Spain can have Atletico de Madrid do that, it's because Atletico Madrid have the money. They can constantly go anywhere and price anybody. Julian Alvarez is there for God knows how much. Ademola Lookman is there for God knows how much. Even when Barcelona in a bad time, they can command the best goalkeeper in Europe that a lot of teams wanted to get into their team. For me, all of these things come together. And I think Italy has some of the best brains, but then the inability to have the money. Look at someone like Fabio Paratici.
That is where I wanted to come in and ask you the question. As I was literally listening to you. If you have people like Giovanni Mana, Tari, Beppe Marotta,
yeah.
You look at this class of
Fabio Paratici
sporting directors that comes out of Italy. I've seen them go into the market, buy players for like 50 million euros, 60, some 35, some 45. Napoli literally spent a lot of money during the summer.
Yeah.
Juventus goes into the market. Look at the amount of money they paid for players like Lloyd Kelly and co. And allowed Dean Heisen to leave to Bournemouth. Look at the amount of money they paid for Kefran Turam. Look at the amount of money they paid for certain players, Zaragoza and co.
Yeah.
Most of these guys. You ask questions. Is it a problem of money or is it a problem of the choices of these technical directors and the kind of players they bring into the league?
So you see, Akomeah, where the money...
Because I see the same amount of money being spent by because Spanish clubs can literally also make an argument for themselves that in our league, in the English Premier League, Wolverhampton Wanderers can literally pay £40 million for a player.
Exactly.
In the Spanish La Liga,
see. The issue is not. Madrid, the issue is not even about. The issue is not even about if Wolves can pay 40. Every club in the world can pay £40 million for a player, especially at the top level. It is how many times you can pay for 40 million. Manchester City can play 80 million today. It will become useless. They will pay another 80 million tomorrow. They did it with. Where is Mateo Kovacic? Where is he? Literally, that's made for. They bought Nico Gonzalez for some time. Nico Gonzalez was not playing. They dropped him to the level where he came. Where is Calvin Phillips today?
Victor Reis.
Victor Reis. I mean, all of these guys. It happens. Claudio Echevarri and the likes.
Let me help you there.
So for me, I think that sometimes about how much the strengths these clubs have as well.
Yeah,
I think the money is a problem.
So
but
adding up to what Fiifi was saying,
the technical directors
you did
also
ask.
get it wrong.
No, they are not getting it wrong.
Yeah.
It's the type of
But
league-
Italy has some of the best technical directors.
And
So I
they're
don't
not
think
getting it wrong.
wrong.
The truth
In
is-
terms of the choices of players,
No,
they are
it's not.
getting-
They're not
they are
getting it
messing
wrong. If you, what about now? Ben, you do say 18 years, 20 years. Now was all worry. Now ofrifia or cost shop, ofri shop, baby, or right. I saw them. Okay, probability so Ben yere and now couldn't hear.
Sure, but
No,
I'm
so
sorry
shop
then.
and answer, sorry.
Exactly. You being the sporting director, Emma's our club with Napoli, AC Milan, and the player been all top level. Say, your fans also one pass over 50 million at work. So they have money to spend that. Now, we are Napoli. Now, only make play, only Manchester United and Chelsea and a big club could play. They could play Elliot Anderson and also Tonali near there. They will be free. Or how about Napoli and AC
The
Milan?
Tulani bit, I'll come and explain it.
Tonali no 20. I was just using the fact that so a big player. And a big player by Pedri. Pedri free Barcelona. Yes, you also coach team be Chelsea aba, City aba, Liverpool aba. Yes, the biggest club with Italy, Juventus. Obi 50-50-50.
Here comes an interview from one of the best strikers in the world, Invicto Osimhen, who literally comes out and says that before the game against Juventus, or say Juventus need a big club. Why not we are saying because of Juventus on the
No, but Juventus in Madrid.
Juventus in Madrid.
How is it going? You will go there.
You see-
Juventus is like Arsenal. You go to Arsenal.
Yeah, I said when I okay.
In this current trend of top players we are talking about by the Italian Serie A, they've always had a culture and a way of having their own top players, which to me, I actually even believe it is not even about money, but how they've been able to fail within the system and change with time. There was, I think who was that? Spalletti. After he left the Italian national team job, he made a specific statement that Italian football is being ruled by people who have been there for ages. And things are not changing for them because there's nothing innovative to bring on board. They believe that how they did things during the olden days, that is the same things you are supposed to do. Just like what Fabregas was saying in reference to these young talents who used to play. Because during those days, when you talk about the six sisters of Italian football, you can talk about Parma.
Yeah.
Parma gave us Fabio Cannavaro.
Yeah.
Parma gave us Roberto Baggio.
Hernan Crespo.
Yeah.
Parma gave us a lot of young talents.
Even recent Dybala.
Moved from Palermo. Dybala was Palermo.
Okay.
So Parma gave us Abidal. Most of these guys in 1995.
Yeah.
Most of these guys came to the mainstream.
Yeah.
There was only one club as at that time in Italy who took money, went outside and brought in foreign players who were world-class players. That was AC Milan, Ruud Gullit,
Yeah.
Frank Rijkaard, Marco van Basten. But the likes of Inter Milan, Juventus, and Napoli relied on the kind of quality that these teams produced from that level for them.
But they were with that one. They were
coming
lucky
in.
to have this talent. The AC Milan you're talking about, you are having Silvio Berlusconi,
Fiifi.
who was the Prime Minister of
I think
Italy,
they
and
are
involving
they are
money.
nothing
That is
short.
not Fiifi.
Hey, Kiki. they are nothing short of.
Yeah, but tell your host, that's our home.
I am the host.
You are the host.
It's who you are, baby.
Yeah,
Or
sorry.
a parasite.
You see, I don't think they are nothing short of quality.
Yeah.
In terms of, because if you may have some no UEFA youth tournament anyway now, they are still big guys because Scavini free nearby.
And where has Cavini got into?
What did the mention? And I think it is about the choices of
Scavini,
how.
yeah,
that's
But it's not about money.
Cambiaso, where's
It's not about
Cambiaso?
money.
Do you think-
No, money is very important, Mike. Mike, you see.
Okay, let me
the
say
money
this way. Let me say it this way.
Yeah.
It's not all about money.
Oh, yes.
Let me say it that way.
It's not
to
just
make it
all.
clear.
You see,
Yes.
because Michael.
It's all about money. It's all about money.
Say,
Kiki, look at one example like this. Manchester United. When Manchester United wanted a striker, United can comfortably take away Rasmus Højlund. How much did you spend on Rasmus Højlund?
75 million.
Yes. How many seasons was Rasmus Højlund over there at Manchester United?
Just two pay.
Just
2 seasons. It didn't work out. They've taken him away on loan, right?
Yeah.
They can buy him there.
Yeah.
They will buy
What's-
him.
what's-
Stop for the umbrella.
What's the name of the other guy? Joshua Zexi.
Zexi.
He came from the same Italy.
Yeah, Bologna.
Bologna.
Has it worked out?
No.
It has not worked out. Otihin,
Bench.
What's the
the
bench?
bench.
Oh,
Why?
look, I know you're on the young best
young
player.
best player.
That season.
Ewo Italian Serie.
I think
But
even
So
Serie
you
A
see,
top 11 he was
Manchester United
quite-
have the financial muscle to tell Joshua Zexi that sit aside. Tell Rasmus Højlund that go somewhere.
Yeah.
Tell Marcus Rashford that go somewhere. We'll buy Cunha. We'll buy Mbuemo. We'll buy Benjamin Sesko. The team is transforming. That is the power. Napoli can't do that. Aurelio De Laurentiis, Crani, Antonio Conte,
Because me, for instance, I was really surprised that they pay certain amount of money. For example, I don't want to even talk about Napoli because Napoli is a third fiddle. Now the big guys is going to be about AC Milan. The big guys.
Hey, today the big guy Napoli is part of.
No.
So Napoli is the defending champion of
There's no disrespect to Napoli and not being champion. I'm talking about us. That's why Manchester United came from one come because Omoji League ni biache.
Okay.
But in terms of the pedigree of Italian teams, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter konya eskawo baby a. Inter to they no money we Lukaku.
No,
they have the money, but lack of
no,
money.
We heard that the company that owned Inter had a loan that they had to pay, and then they came to take their asset. Michael, Fabregas who works there. I don't know, please tell me.
So if Dean Heisen left
45,
and no moton that young moton some young club no ako England also open center back or market more. Your choices you want to go for Kelly. Are you serious?
Now, even in the
why is Michael making it look as if it's just about, and that is where Kiki comes in and tells you that even if what Kiki is saying is that even if you are holding the 45 million, that's also best spend there. Not Magay. Only if I say Magay, you have 45 million. Man City, Magay, 45 million. Liverpool, 45. Manchester United, Arsenal, 45 million. They won't choose Juve.
And the issue is,
Plus, you go to the salary bit. You go let them do the salary. You can't pay Magay 325 million pounds every week.
Even if you are looking for the best centre backs in the world, and me, I'm no, and yes, I'm again.
Okay, one.
Baby, I'm one whatever we used to describe Italian football, it's about the quality of players who produce as defenders.
Yeah.
Now you look at players like Scavini, Atalanta.
Scavini better.
No,
Scavini is
There's this guy even in a year better than Lloyd Kelly. The choices. Oh, Bologna. I'm friends say Luciano.
Yeah, Luciano.
No, most of these guys. No, you go out there not go follow Lloyd Kelly in about saying choices.
If he says Kelly, no.
Them a buff guy Jonathan Davis.
That boy is
Jonathan
superstar way free Fabrizio Romano play away. Jonathan Davis.
Davis wasa.
Don't you feel like the Italian Serie and Angasa, it feels like a stepping stone for some of these players as well?
And then it feels like a stepping stone.
You see, they've lost an identity.
No,
And it's all part.
Atalanta's starting 11. Scavini, back to you. Scavini, Hien, Said Kolasinac, Arsenal,
Atalanta was Scavini.
Okay, senior boys, no. That was here. The AC Milan crowd permit for Akoji Luka Modric. Senior man.
Luka Modric, England always start your teams in including Chelsea. Luka Modric.
He's good.
Luka Modric.
Quality. What is that?
Obesta to United. So you think men will bench Luka Modric to a team?
No.
Matches. He's the player of Common Grounds.
But
only about 10 minutes. I
am the host.
Listen. Do you agree that Modric was at the twilight of his career when he was leaving Madrid?
Oh yes, of course.
Very good.
But in terms
twilight,
of
relax. Retired twilight.
So when he was leaving, do you think that he could have gone to Manchester City, Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool?
Manchester City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Yes, you could have
Man City Premier League. Man City Premier League.
Man City has good one in the main go. Man City has good one in the main go. You could have chosen what part? Which part? Which part? Kiki.
You could have chosen that part.
The back four of Napoli, back three of Napoli now. Sambuí Kema, Juan Jesus and Bonjono. Bonjono will not start for any top English Premier League side.
Bonjono.
I'm telling you today.
Bonjono best at
Bonjono
Chaloba.
Why they?
Chaloba on starting matches.
Yeah, in top 5. No, yeah, they
No, Chaloba.
Listen.
That's the point.
For Arsenal, I will agree because Gabriel Magalhaes.
Of course.
And then
because
City Bonjono will start.
City you start for City. You start for City. Chief, and let me Chelsea is standard. And Chelsea and center back in Chelsea is standard. I'm telling you today.
No. Don't you also make an argument in favor of Manchester City with their defense until Maguire joined? So Kusanov is better than Bonjono.
You are Manchester City's worst center back. Come on,
Okay. Now, if you are doing the standard, let's use the best defense in England. Arsenal,
you won't start. Bonjono won't start.
But you believe that he'll start at Manchester City? Over who?
Over Euro, over Maguire.
City.
No, City will start over Kusanov and Ruben Dias.
Kusanov doesn't start.
He will start over Ruben Dias.
How does he start over Ruben Dias?
Because Ruben Dias, this is Ruben Dias. You see, you people are underrating the Italians.
We are not underrating anyone.
You see, for the English Premier League, I've always said this thing, there's too much noise around certain players, which in a nutshell, no. Oma kwa ye chire se bia semi final bia no madu e ka so mo round of 16 say mama trust you me ahwa ye round of 16 na ka teams 2 per se then the woman for the next round and almost na quality and Liverpool one way or the other but the rest of them when they go to Europe almost show mu de bia Atalanta mu no show mu de bia Manchester United and
Akomeah, it is all it is football. It is possible to beat me at one. What we keep on saying over here is the consistency of Spain and England and even Germany. Their teams going very far in the competition. Today, as we sit here, you are making an argument for these people. I'm telling you today. Look at Inter Milan. They are top of the Italian Serie A. Inter Milan. Apart from Bastoni,
10 points gap.
All the back five, Obi and Bo, Bia. Apart from Bastoni.
Apart from the back
five. And then Young Summer, Ever Chelsea.
Young Summer, one over two no.
Are you saying the Italian football hasn't declined?
You see, for the word decline, also besides take statistics, Bidima said there has been only 4 times that we've seen Italy go into the round of 16 of the Champions League. One team Peneco. As compared to Germany, Eco Bear 5, France Eco Bear 6. England, they've not had some before. What did they mention us? But I think for them, there is something that has really lost out of them, which is one thing. I think they are not really helping more young talent, more people more. And I agree with Fabregas on that tangent. Say Enkurano, you train almost winning games rather than developing themselves. In recent years, near Tremuno, say Italy for only Enkurano, then your defense. Kabodo Krabe qualifier, Bodo for 5-2 on aggregate. And qualify.
Akomeah, did you watch the Bodo Glimpse Inter match? No, I'll answer
yes,
question.
I watched.
No. You see, sometimes when there are a lot of games, all of us sometimes.
Oh no, I watched.
We passively watch.
I watched that game. This is not passive.
Chief, let me look into the camera. Anybody watch the Bodo Glimpse Inter match knows that Inter could not even play through Bodo.
Fiifi.
It's very
let
true.
me make my
It's
point.
very
Let me
true.
make my point. Inter could not play through Bodo. This is the best team in Italy.
Leading
Somebody
the
will
league with 10
mention
points.
Manchester City. Manchester City is the shock result. I wasn't shocked at Inter. I wasn't shocked. You can't even press Bodo. What are you saying? Norwegian side, they are debutants. No disrespect to them.
I'm coming with that second. Vikings granted that face.
This same team
Vikings
went to play against Tottenham Hotspur.
One of the day they also support agenda for
Mike, it is not as if Bodo have done a good job. But don't make it look like this Inter team is so good and then the sporting directors are not doing their job.
And again,
Christian, you see, the managers in Italy, they are doing a huge job.
Fiifi. And
it's
again,
not sustainable.
And again, you are getting it all wrong with where I'm coming from with my last statement.
This is my own where I'm coming from.
Okay,
not where you are
this
coming
where
from.
you are coming from. Then I'll agree with
I
that.
can't be wrong where I'm
because
coming
where
from.
I'm coming from, I'm trying to state
where you are coming from and what the Fiifi I can. No. Where you are coming from? Not the Fiifi I can. No me anya Madrid.
Dr. Kiki. I said something here. And you're even trying to change it. Say, let me say, at the grandpa, I didn't know about Omo. You're defense in the crown.
Defensive mastery.
Now, no crown, Omun defense, which even confirms what we are talking about. What did they mention as no? But what I'm trying to say in a nutshell about the whole thing is, you can't pick it out and come and tell us, it's only about, I say, Omuniska or Modebe. That is where I wouldn't agree.
No,
because
say 100%.
In the Italian Serie A, they were not buying more players for huge amount of money than England and even Spain and even Germany, but they were still winning.
If we say that time, they were lucky enough to not that. Remember, to
of course.
They
Come and go. Listen to him.
They were lucky enough as at that time. I'm going to tell Maldini.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Indesta.
Top players.
I'm going to take public and that kind of players. Now, last time we were sitting here, we were talking about the quality of players in the English Premier League right now, and the quality of players. Time and John Time Rooney Mobile. So what I'm saying is that
even at the
It's
time,
the Premier League time of quality.
even at the time, the pedigree of AC Milan. Most players will have to go there.
Yes.
Yeah. Where did Ricardo Kaka come from to go to AC Milan? They want to go and coach, play under Ancelotti. But I don't go here, Allegri.
The reason why I also believe say the Italian football na from Kakrano. Look at every league now. I feel like it transcends to their national team.
Yeah, it does.
Italy, Akomeah working. Yeah, let's take Italy from 2003 coming to 2007 thereabouts. Multiple Champions League final. I think 2003 there was Champions League final between two Italian teams, Juventus and AC Milan.
Yeah.
2003. In which year did Italy win the World Cup?
2006.
In which year did AC Milan win the Champions League?
2007.
You see that period. Italian teams were strong. It reflected in their national team. Now look at Spain. Time Pep Guardiola by when Tiki Taka was bet positional play near the other. Look at Barcelona and Real Madrid, their dominance in their club football.
Yeah.
Look at how it transferred to the national team. Spain, that was the time they won their first ever trophy. And it didn't just end there. They won the World Cup. They went on to win the Euros during that short period.
Yeah.
What I said, look at Germany. From 2010 thereabout. Even Bayern Munich was dominated, but Shetama Klopp came with his gang pressing, and there was this tough, German football and all other kind of that. 2013 Champions League final, Bayern Munich and Dortmund, two German teams, sorry. In which year did Germany win the World Cup? 2014.
Yeah.
This Bodo Glimt team here, Omo team no 9 of their starters. 9 of them start for the Norway national team.
Yeah.
Norway almost call World Cup that since 98 or something. And now Norway is in the World Cup. Look at Bodo Glimt, the ball they are playing. It can't be a coincidence.
Yeah.
Do you get
There's
me?
always a link.
There's always a link. Now, what are you call back, crowd? The 1970s when Ajax they were dominating. That was when Cruyff was on the time. Johan Cruyff and all these Ajax players, even though they didn't win the World Cup, but they were dominant.
So I'm a history teacher.
Juventus played in the final of the 2014-2015 Champions League.
Outlier.
But 2016,
outlier. It's an outlier. But he's saying that it coincides with their national team.
Usually.
So why didn't Inter's own coincide with their national team? Why didn't Juventus own coincide with their national team?
Because the same Juventus team. I told you that the Juventus.
Okay.
Where's statistics, Kaka?
For an Italian team.
And the answer was a data.
Now you say for a country that has won 4 World Cups, for a country that has won 4 World Cups, failing to qualify for a World Cup, it's a structural damage. You can't tell me queen like there's a problem.
De la C.
Which I've already stated earlier on with Spalletti.
It has affected the Italian national team now.
So again, when you are mentioning that Akomeah,
you what Spalletti said after leaving the job.
You are mentioning that, you see, again, for Luciano Spalletti to do what he did with Napoli after 30 years to win them what they won. Before that, Mauricio Sarri was the highest ever point holder for a second place team in the Italian Serie A. He couldn't win the league. Now, they had Vicha Kvaratskhelia. They had all of these boys. Actually, so where did Kvaratskhelia came from? That's a Georgian boy. During COVID, there was no football in Georgia. Then this boy they had to force to get him to Italy.
I think he was playing for Shakhtar or one of the Ukraine.
He had come to Ukraine. That was how this boy could get the success that he had and come out to where he was now. Italy don't command the strength. But again, for me, one of the more reasons why I think it goes down to revenue is that look through Europe, look through Italy. You can't get 5 stadia. No, let me reduce it. 2. That is modern day. Do you know that the Giuseppe Meazza and the San Siro they are talking about? Tottenham Hotspur has a better stadium than them.
What a historical city.
No,
it has their own.
But have you not heard that Inter Milan and then AC Milan are thinking of rebuilding a new stadium?
But that is still
so what I'm saying is that I'm coming to revenue. You see, sometimes let people land before. They have issues. Revenue.
It's the historic
revenue.
Do you know why?
No, let me make my point. No, make my point. Akomeah.
Okay, make your point.
After that, you make your point.
Yeah, man, make your point.
Yeah.
Who your host? We need to tell what analyst. Analyst for Kasama and Kasa. Host to them. Who you question out? Who your host? You want to?
Nidia no aparo. Or can I say for say as I say, then come who the amount. Now what to be that? I don't know tell you.
Host yes, sir. Yeah, say I do to go brown once they brown once they come out the room. Now why yes sir?
They come out the master. They are there yes I be share me up.
It's a man there na work kafa or catch.
Ebuziafo.
We don't catch. Some na busu ani just say Vinicius to aso.
I would want to talk about Arbeloa.
Is Italy no wadia tumzem.
Wadia. I would like to talk about Arbeloa. Alvaro Arbeloa Kuka. It's not about tactics. Tactics or shit. But I'm talking about the management. And maybe specific. See, we are always talking about tactics. And we're talking about, these structures and all that. But I always want to go beyond tactics. When you look at Arbeloa and the formal education, a degree in journalism. And apart from a degree in journalism, you name the journalists for you. If they want to get a certain information from you or they want to act in a certain way, and they be paying for baby or mubu.
Aibu.
Or say so be ne asoroboa. O kotokre and casoro.
If your something is airbed, your kotokra won't go up.
Yes, because what percent kotokre ne de anasa asoroboa no kotokre ne bro. O tell me to bona or no de be a person revenge. Yeah. Mo say what two kotokre no person otobo automatically on saka wa de. What do I mean? And now say Alvaro Arbeloa nim pefe de or person or di Vinicius Junior yenti. Or try as much as possible, say, obey you to be ama Vinicius. And that thing, or yeah, want a specialized education in football management and science.
Gosh.
Arbeloa.
But what could you see when it's in
university? I saw
crowd because of friend of crowd.
Yeah. And see, when you come to this course, we have something we call educational psychology. So what I say. And in structural strategies. This number me, I know you smell Vinicius. When you talk about education, oh my God. When you talk about educational psychology, Usually, this is when we use specialized training for children and our young adults.
Kokum. Kokum.
Young adults.
Are you the host?
I'm the host.
I'm the host. You're
the host. You better be Jeff.
Better Jeff.
My brother.
Talk, my brother.
Every day they sack. So, when we talk about educational psychology, especially training and now say young adults between the ages of 0 to 25, but it's only 29. The whole idea is that there are a lot of young and actually young adults they are going through a lot of emotional, social, and behavioral changes. And they actually need that kind of specialized training. And when you talk about the instructional strategies, ways and means are them akrabia emotionally. Or I don't want to use unstable. But just that say ways and means this year, all common ways and means and by akrabia get it the upper. And that is what Abeloa is using for Vinicius. You now have established the fact that Vinicius Jr. Ne ye bi ne nyoma bi a oye. Edi adanse ese etoro bi ono afre pressure ene atete ma no ho. Ebia ne de Morino kan na anu na komo pe na bono no. Na anu wan kasa Akomeah. Me wo ha na be ka kire me say
What's my main concept?
And I come as my me ka wase. Me say come as my me ka wase. O be ka kire me say Vinicius the supporters say huru na ma kwatena ba bi so ma players for na agada won ho.
Aye.
So meaning that ono ankasa no emotionally or we check akra.
Or baby lafi.
Kakra.
Baby there.
Lafi.
Those are not ton biscuit out of into nyoma ya de So Abeloa are finding ways and means combining these courses and I say this know-how to improve Vinicius. And see, Vinicius, no doubt, Madrid with the recent years and BBD dancer said Vinicius has been super integral part of the team, if not the most integral person. And Obayano, now you Nadia dancer send a form because of one SCS Zavi structure be all born any the way I am no ninja home. And that was the time we were talking about when Abaya Heno or Madrid team in him, either Mbappe and I say Vinicius. Or no, Abeloa Abayano decided say ne Abaya Vinicius. Then of finding ways and means to make Vinicius feel on na ye hene nampa. It is over how recent matches here. Born on your bomber Vinicius. And that is what I will pay. And see, for the first time Abeloa baby BD dance here say whatever Abeloa did is actually working.
Gosh.
And so far the Wakusiano. And where you man or
Tactics
the enya juma de but say yon crowd korean dafa fan takra nu wasum na kodi juma de eno an oye
na so that Vini amana ba man
so far there whatimi that na man e bo man and onya results so
o chana Champions League draw no matches been our head no say bit man
United fans are Mocha Champions League
United
one game
discuss now make you do on our own. But I'm going to video
Chelsea no why because Chelsea will meet one of I think PSG or Newcastle United.
Chelsea Newcastle.
I think I saw the tables.
Chelsea Newcastle.
Yeah. See, come PSG. But PSG, you know, I feel Ebia Maresca any honor. I feel much my Chelsea who but you know. Chelsea share these English teams now, especially Newcastle now. More Castle football.
Body.
Castle football. There's a high probability to say King, but could be free. I feel that when Chelsea meet a good side, they play.
It become more PSG.
They become more Newcastle. More Mabra boy be also more Tare. Play.
Oh, I mean Atalanta and Leverkusen there. But I prefer Leverkusen. Yeah.
Fiifi Chelsea PSG.
What they for?
I said near for the head there.
Bia ba obeji.
Edi bia yi ba ko na bi no say.
Mo Barca for no betime hia wan. Go Barca for.
So Barca can meet either Chelsea or Paris Saint-Germain. Barca can meet Newcastle or Paris Saint-Germain.
Barca Newcastle or Paris Saint-Germain. Yeah. Wow.
I want them to get Newcastle. On be share Paris Saint-Germain easy. I want them to go back to Tyneside be. Barca and Chelsea.
Question me na obusa me.
Ose Barca be
Chelsea. At the same thing, Chelsea.
Newcastle.
Chelsea and Barcelona can meet the same set of teams. But which year
On the man you fan.
Liverpool slot here, why more?
Liverpool, Galatasaray. Any one of that thing, Galatasaray who?
Now Liverpool meets Galatasaray or Atletico Madrid.
Anything I say? Nah.
My fee.
Me who ni yewa.
Diego Simeone against Liverpool again. That will be a cracker.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sure Liverpool.
But Madrid
success
meets
will
either
always
Man City or Sporting.
Yeah, I think
They said the
for
Courtois kind. Yeah, the City be more.
They may share in favor of
But
Arsenal. Nti me piano na ko say.
Because Davison's almost hung.
Why?
Davison's are just mono.
I'm sure Liverpool.
Galatasaray.
My Galatasaray the can show more.
But I see Davison's almost a brutal.
And I'm so the can share no.
Liverpool form not picking
the team.
So let's be quick, and I think we need to end it very soon. This weekend there are some good games coming up, and I think I want us to only touch on two. You look at Arsenal, Chelsea, then Manchester City, Leeds United. Big game, 2 big games that could decide a lot of things this weekend. So catch them say Man City but dropping points with Leeds.
Why? Yeah. Oh, Daniel Farkant, yeah. And Elland Road on a hot throw. Match, a 2-2, and I say 2-1 in favor of Leeds.
2-2.
Odifu akasa.
Okay, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Odifu nkasa. Oh, yes, Chelsea fan.
You said the same thing.
But I man watch them.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Leeds on the last couple of games, I think let me check it, but I mean I checked it earlier. They've lost only 2, I guess. Newcastle last minute, and they 4-3 be last minute. Them say they conceded, and Arsenal 4-0 now. Leeds United have actually been a very good game. Osha, when they gave Donnarumma this, say they gave him a command, say unless he beats some 2 teams, say Liverpool and other team, his job is at stake. He actually switched to a 3-back, and it has been very, very good for him. Manchester City, I mean, obviously they have been a good side, but this same list during that period, they've drawn against Aston Villa, I think Chelsea, and they've had very, very good performances against some of the big sides. Maybe me being an Arsenal fan will also switch my interest to their side a bit, but I feel like tactically, if Manchester City is going to drop points in their next 5 games, this is one of the games that they drop points.
Arsenal don't measure Chelsea.
Arsenal, yes. I feel like Arsenal will score Chelsea, but Enyafu to say Tottenham was
Chelsea.
I mean, if that match ends, honestly, if that match ends in a draw, I wouldn't be surprised. Play draw. I say if it ends in a draw, I wouldn't be surprised. That's what I say. But we are not losing to Chelsea.
You're not losing to Chelsea.
It's going to be if I'm supposed to predict, it's going to be a marginal win.
Arsenal
2-1 and now 1.
Arsenal for it make bomb 5-1 4-3.
No, yes, I don't know. Now what's Remy?
Okay, that's it.
Robert Michel figure amazing.
City wins against a difficult game, Alan Road, but a best slim win.
Well, now D4 sem was so. Oh yeah, City game the score.
The Man City independent.
So okay. So okay, Dortmund and Atalanta. Okay. Atalanta. So I don't know.
David Akai.
Okay, wait. But I know it's a better marginal win. City will win that game.
Arsenal Chelsea.
But Oji Rose no deeper. Can he cook? Can Rosie cook?
Honestly, give me who right now a draw.
That's what you in the Petit Accra.
Petit Accra tactics. Draw.
Wow.
Give me funny Chelsea.
1-1 and a goalless.
No, and your goalless. It will be 1-1, 2-2.
Wow. And not Chelsea be home abeshe me 2 goals.
Yeah, I was say Untebe.
Now that's not for there. 2 matches are Rose no abo nya no nyini full fledged team.
Na me then I get my full fledged team.
Naga.
I get my full.
Naga full fledged.
I come your home and then
Obo Zubimendi. Na Calafiori or your 4th case.
Na I come no try.
Yeah, but one boy is that yeah body lap now ring so. Yeah, carry. That is the player we had. Ni any Kopama.
It wasn't the player you had.
Kopama would dance on them. Mo colleague ni bomb.
As you can see, the Chelsea and Arsenal fan are really heated up for this game.
Monday.
Obeya no more dum light yam pon and
So this is another episode of the Four Posts
but dum light be donya me no we go.
on the Four Posts podcast. And we are saying that all you can do for us is to watch the video, share it to your friends, like, subscribe, and put on your notifications. And many other times you are really going to enjoy certain football discussions that comes with this whole team. You heard from Fiifi, Manfred. You heard from Dr. Kiki.
The boy you got to be
See you.